I can't sleep. Read me a story.
Hop on in. Come on, honey. Good boy. Now, honey, you just make yourself nice and snuggly, and Mommy's going to find you a story. How about a nice pirate story? It's very exciting. A ship called Passion.
Does it have a lot of action and stuff?
Oh, yes, it does.
Let's rock.
Thanks, Dad.
Can I get a whooping?
Whoa,
No Man presents, live from the nudie bar, the Married with Children podcast. And here are your hosts, Dan, Jamie, and Al.
And the very modern of a modern major general. I am information, vegetable, animal, and mineral.
Is that going to be your intro?
No, it is not.
Wow, that was fantastic. Is this Rubio? Do we have Rubio on the show? Yes, Jamie, I'm leaving that in there.
Oh, no!
Oh, yeah. That's how we're starting this one, baby.
Don't do everything. If I'd known that was the plan, I would have been.
Yeah, we're reviewing Peggy and the Pirates. We're excited for this one. My name is Al. Kiss me or kiss the sharks.
Okie dokie, Captain Daddy.
All right.
Okay, this is the first time in a long time that Alex stole my opener.
Oh my, dude, when we talked about it, I said, do you have an opener? And you go, yeah, for some weird reason, I had a feeling you
knew.
I don't know.
You left out the wenches part, too. Come, wenches, kiss me or kiss the sharks.
Should I redo it?
No, leave all this in. And I'm Dan, and I definitely don't have split ends.
That's for damn sure.
Yeah, because he has no hair. I mean, this is after.
Yeah, no, we got it.
Yeah, thanks for explaining, Jamie. I think Lacey was pretty thorough the one time.
It never ends, you know. This is my safe zone, you know, my little vacation away from bald jokes, but
and it was infiltrated.
Exactly.
Well, like I said, Peggy and the Pirates, Season 7, Episode 18, the long-awaited Episode 18 for a reason or two. Actually, 2 for sure.
Yeah.
Original air date, February 28th, 1993. Director Jerry Cohen. Writer Richard Gurman. While reading a romance novel, Peg fantasizes that she is a lady in distress, and Al's the pirate who saves her. And Al likes the lady in distress, and distress, and distress? You remember that one?
Yeah.
That was great.
It was.
So Eric Munyak, who played Jerry in Season 5's We'll Follow the Sun, did you recognize his face? He, in this episode, is Black Bob. Remember the guy who kept fighting with Al on the freeway?
Oh, that's that same dude?
That's him.
Ah, right on.
Crazy, right? Martial arts legend Judo Gene LaBelle appears in this episode as Black Ben. Frank Lloyd, we all know him, who played Norris, appears in this episode as Black Bert. The title of this episode comes from an action-adventure comic strip, Terry and the Pirates, created by cartoonist Milton Caniff. It ran from 34 to 73, believe it or not. There were a lot of pirate movies in the 40s to the 60s. I think that this episode's storyline might be a parody of The Princess and the Pirate. It's a 1994 comedy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it starred Bob Hope and Virginia Mayo. The movie's about a princess who travels, like incognito, to elope with this guy she loves instead of marrying the guy she's engaged to. And her ship's attacked by pirates who plan to kidnap her and hold her for ransom, unaware that she will be rescued by the unlikeliest of nights. So, of course, the big special guest star is David Garrison, and you're probably wondering, where's Jerry Herring? the thing you ask any podcaster, what's the one thing you hate about podcasting?
Scheduling.
Jerry Herring.
Oh, God, that was...
Yes.
Wow. I really did kind of leave that open. Sorry, Jerry. Yeah, it's scheduling, and it just could not happen. I know a lot of you might be disappointed, but Jerry did say that he will send in a clip. So we will hear from Jerry on this episode. It just won't be his play-by-play.
It just won't be in person, thank the Lord.
So this is Steve Rhodes' second of 4 appearances, or should I say reappearances, in the show since he left. And it only gets worse from here. Well, no, actually there's one... Well, one is not that great, but then there's one that is just...
fantastic.
Yeah, this Tremaine radio thing or something. Like, oh, God. Once we get to those episodes, it's going to be like... Ugh. So, this is the first and only episode that features the entire Bundy, Rhodes-Darcy household and Seven.
Wow. Yeah. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Now, big question for you guys. Did he even bother you in this episode? For me, no.
No. Especially when you know he's leaving. How could he bother you? I mean, how picky can you get here?
I feel like you're biased, yeah. Because you know there's an end in sight. Well, I mean, and listen, he was a catalyst for the story as well. You know, he got things moving. So,
yeah, he had a purpose.
Like for once, though, that's what I'm saying. So, like, not too many times could you have a situation where Peg is reading to a child. Although I guess, yeah, with this you probably could. Would maybe bring back Baby Bud.
Yeah. With the built-in feet pajamas or whatever.
But you're right, though. I was so, I guess, distracted by, like you said, the whole cast. I mean, even Buck was there on the ship.
Oh, yeah.
You know, everybody was there. So I didn't mind him in this episode. I really didn't.
No, he wasn't even annoying.
No.
You know, it was a nice send-off.
I ask you this every time. Is this his last one?
This is it. We're done, man.
Wow. So he basically, they used him for one good idea the entire run.
Yes.
This is it?
That's it. We will never see Seven again except for a joke where his head...
Nothing is ever mentioned. The last thing that's said to him is go to bed.
Right.
That is amazing. And, like I said, fitting as well.
Yeah. Well, he walked the plank, man. And it's funny, we went in depth. Like, people watch... We're not the only people on Earth to go in depth on this, but we are probably, 3 out of 7 on Earth, to go, and what I mean is, research at the episode, talk about it in depth, every fine detail almost,
I feel like I've seen somewhere there's a book.
Yeah, there is. Remember that guy, he kept on talking about it?
That's why I said that, because, yeah, there was every post, it was like, oh, but read this book. Oh, but read this book. And I'm like, well, you read the book.
Right. He's like, I wrote the book. I was like, well, read it over. Proof it.
Put it on tape.
Yeah, right. Put it on tape. Shut up. Get away from my... Get out of my group.
I will burn your book.
Yeah, our podcast is kind of like a book on tape. It's like the longest book on... I think it's longer than The Stand.
It's longer than it's chapter 1 and 2.
The party continues with a special swashbuckling episode of Married with Children.
That's right.
And Leslie Nielsen guest stars as God on Herman's Head.
Sunday, beginning at 8 on Fox 5.
Episode opens up with a shot of a pirate ship above their bed. Now, this picture was never there before, right? There's a picture, but it's not that. No. There's no way, right? Yeah, okay.
I don't recall ever seeing that one.
No. So, Peg dreams that... This is a really great opening joke.
Oh, baby, that's so good. I never knew it could be like this. Al.
Peg.
Al.
Peg.
Al.
Hey, shut up. I'm trying to sleep.
Oh, well, I had the most wonderful dream. We were having sex. Actually, I shouldn't say we. You weren't there.
Oh, yeah? Then why were you calling Al?
I wanted you to see how it was done.
Like, that is such a great opening joke. Like, you know, sometimes you can roll your eyes at the typical sex humor or whatever. You know how The Simpsons parody it. But, God, sometimes they're really good, and this is one of them.
I agree. It was great.
So, Seven intrudes for the final time.
Mommy, I can't sleep. Read me a story.
Hop on in. Come on, honey. Good boy. There we go.
Now, Peg, where am I supposed to sleep?
You know, this is why I always said we should have a stable.
Well, that would be like an open invitation for your mother to come and stay with us. You know, a place with straw and a nice gate she can rest her breasts on. Well, I guess I'll have to go to the only place I can truly call home.
So, Al seeks refuge in the bathroom. Peg's looking for a good bedtime story, and she accidentally turns on her vibrator in her drawer while Seven is looking at her. This kid is really right there. Now, we don't know how this went down, like if it was in post or whatever, but the live audience seems to be laughing. Now, how do you explain this to this kid who might say, what is the buzzing sound that everyone's going to be laughing at?
Well, what I would have done is taken an electric razor, and before I shot the scene, I would be like, this is going to be silly. To Seven, I would have been, well, you know, or the kid, Sean. What's his name? I don't know.
I forgot. Shane.
Shane. Okay, Shane Sweet, yeah. To the kid, I would have been like, this is going to be so funny. We're going to play the electric razor. And then, you know, put it in the drawer.
And then, yeah, she'll say, I use this to shave my armpits. Isn't that funny? You know? And then he goes, oh, okay.
I've been lying to kids for years.
Especially when you tell them, I'm going to have one of my own like you.
Yeah. Or, no, this isn't poison.
Amazing.
How about a nice pirate story? It's very exciting. A ship called Passion.
Does it have a lot of action and stuff?
Oh, yes, it does. As a matter of fact, I was reading it before I went to bed, and I had a very nice sleep.
Now, does that not sound like one of those books like in the supermarket next to the Daniel Steele books?
That's exactly, yes. I thought she wrote it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Griff is reading this book in season 11.
Oh, really?
Yeah, an episode called Bud on the Side.
Yes, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, so that's a cool callback.
Now, let's see here. Okay. The beautiful Princess Scarlet looked o'er the bounding main as she sailed from her father's realm to meet her betrothed, Prince Paco the Magnificent, for the very first time. The blue waves lapped gently against the shore.
Uh-oh. No problem, Peg.
So, Al flooded the toilet, and he goes into his safe behind a mirror, and it holds plungers and a gun. But it looked like a pirate gun or some weird kind of gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like an old-fashioned gun?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
I thought it was so stupid to have a safe for plungers, even though that's something Al would do. But having the gun there kind of makes it seem like, oh, well, he's keeping it away from the kids.
Right, exactly.
So, Peg starts reading this book, then you get a shot of the ship in the water. Now, the water looks fake as hell, but I must say the ship, like, wow. What did you guys think about that? Because Ted McGinley, he said that was the best set we've had, and all the others agree.
I completely agree. I thought it was fantastic. I was actually very, very impressed with it.
I loved it. I thought it gave it a very stage show quality. And there was one point, I think it was right before the big battle, that the sound made me think of a stage show. Like the way they were, like you'd hear them walking.
Right.
It was like you were at a play.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it's really neat. I don't know, I liked it.
Obviously, the background above sea level, like the sky, that was clearly not real either. It's funny because it's like you can't fool with the lighting. You know when someone's has sunlight as their lighting, and then when you have unnatural light like this. But they did make an effort at some point. I noticed because I was trying to see if they tried at all to make this somewhat realistic. And you see Peg and this other pirate dude's hair blowing in the wind as soon as this whole thing starts. I kind of forgot to take notice of it as it kept going, but they at least did that to provide some sort of atmosphere, But you can't fake sunlight. It just,
All right, now where were we? As day broke over Madagascar, so did the heart of Princess Scarlet, for her ship was taken by the vile pirate Captain Courage. The voluptuous vixen was a prisoner, not of love, but of evil. If only they were better looking. Unhand me, you ruthless rapscallions! You'll pay dearly for this! My betrothed, Prince Paco the Magnificent, will have your social disease-ridden hides. Now where is your captain that I may spit in his eye?
Where he goes after every great conquest. To be alone to work on the captain's log.
It is I, Captain Courage. I had to swing in because it's wet back there.
Al swings in on a rope because he flooded the bathroom here, too. Like, this is some book Peg's reading, huh? They flood toilets, they, do all this other stuff we'll get to. So, what do you think of Al's look? He has the long hair again. And you don't know what's the scariest part? My hair is exactly the same length as Al's right now.
Do you ever rock the bandana?
Oh, every day.
Yeah.
Because I wear a hard hat for work.
So you have to. Yeah.
Yeah, but I tie mine in a ponytail and then put the bandana on.
Oh, despise those hard hats.
Can you imagine if I left the hair on the sides and back like he does in this episode? What people would think of me? So, yeah, he's dressed up like a pirate. He has the whole get-up going on. His name is Captain Courage. Now, I think he could have had a better name than that.
Yes. I totally agree. I was like, I thought I'll give him the benefit of the doubt because I thought maybe it would come back in a joke.
Right.
Like they would use it like, oh, it's not funny now, but like, put it here and it's hilarious. And then the joke never came, so I don't understand the whole Captain Cards thing either.
No. Nope.
Where is the cabin boy?
How may I serve you, sir?
You can swab the deck in my quarters, ye of cropped hair and dubious sexuality.
Aye, sir, but I seem to have lost my mop. May I use your nose hairs as bristles?
Mock me if you will, cabin boy girl. Now go, before I make you walk the plank. Or should I say, walk yourself.
I sense you are threatened by my androgyny. Perhaps it is that encounter that you had with your strange uncle pirate that haunteth you.
I am not gay! Any man can live with his mother till he's 40.
So, Marcy plays the cabin boy girl. What'd you think of that role? That's kind of unforgettable.
That she does. No, I gotta say that, and I don't mean to be jumping the gun so much here, but man, the use of Marcy or joking at Marcy's expense was used to its fullest potential in this episode.
It's fascinating. Amanda Burse could never have imagined what she'd be subjected to when this show started. Or Christina Applegate. The two of them. Just think of their characters in season 1 compared to today. Or should I say 93?
Right. Yeah, not exactly today.
You know, their characters are just ridiculed, but Marcy is on another level because we all know that Christina's acting stupid.
Right.
You're really mocking Amanda Burse, essentially.
Right. Right. I agree.
You know? Like I said in a prior episode, I give her as much credit as these fat women. Or more.
No, I think I agree, because she takes it on a weekly basis. It's constant. Prior to Jefferson, when she was with Steve, there were a lot of sexual jokes. Like, but they had sex all the time. They were into each other. And then it kind of got worse because now it's just everyone's making, and only Al made fun of her. He called her chicken legs, things like that. But now everyone makes fun of her, and Jefferson quite a bit. Her character has taken a completely different look as far as that goes.
Yeah, she went from just chicken jokes to like flat as a board, and hey young boy, oh, I thought you were my wife. That was never happening back in the day. Like it evolved into you better have a thick skin to be this character. I should have told her that left, right, and center when we interviewed her. Maybe I'll try to get her back and I'll start talking about this type of stuff,
Right.
Like, are you emotionally scarred from this? God.
Right.
Al had a strange encounter with his uncle and has to clarify once again that he is not gay. Call back to Heels on Wheels. I am not gay. That's almost becoming like a mantra.
Right.
Even the dog agrees.
Right. Little Jules does agree.
Long John Jules. Yeah, we're actually, I didn't say that we're doing this from the nudie bar, because we're not. You see, we wanted the full experience of this episode, so we are out to sea. We are on a pirate ship, a real-life pirate ship. I think it's, what did it say on the thing? This belongs to One-Eyed Willie, I think.
Yeah, well, I get that, but why do I have to be out here on the plank?
One-Eyed Willie.
That's what it said on the registration.
That's from the Goonies.
Oh, okay.
Wow, we're on that one? That's cool. Yeah, that's what it said on the registration, One-Eyed Willie. So, yeah, we're at sea and doing this episode to get the authentic experience, because that's how we do it here. It's such a big deal that we had to do the same thing.
Captain, the men would like a shot at Big Red.
Please, no.
The pirates all want to sleep with Peg, or rape her, however you want to put it. Yeah, let's be honest here.
Not now, Wilbur. Methinks that Scarlet will bring a bigger ransom as a virgin.
I got frustrated with this whole thing, because it went back and forth so many times, right to the bitter end. So, because I just watched this episode. I never took notes, so I take them as I go, not thinking of future lines or anything. So why would Captain Courage think Peg is a virgin when, she's like in her late 30s, early 40s, He don't know for sure, but she's clearly around those ages, right?
And especially the way she's talking, too. I would assume that she's not.
Right. So right there, let's just make that observation for now.
But these wenches are fair game. But as usual, the first choice goes to my first mate, Fluvio the Handsome. Ho, Fluvio!
Hello, me pretties.
Which is Bud. Bud as a hunchback. He must be drinking the water in Visaria, right, Jamie?
Oh.
Wow, what a deep cut. That's a Skeleton Crew deep cut right there, guys.
Looks like you'll all have to listen to the Skeleton Crew so you can understand it.
Yeah, look up the episode called Frankula and Drakenstein.
It's time to partake of a hot flagon of Fluvio. You there! How would you like to play a game of Hide the Hooters with Fluvio? Come, wenches! Kiss me or kiss the sharks.
So he gave them the option, so they all jumped to their death into the ocean, the freezing ocean where there's no chance of survival. They are dead, instead of making love to Fluvio.
Yes.
And I love how they have to make him uglier than he is in normal life, which he can't get laid there either, right?
Yeah, and that's what I loved about this episode too, though, because, you know, we try and find consistencies within the universe of Married with Children that is supposed to be taken for reality.
Right.
So then when you take it out of reality and you can kind of push it as far as you want and then do exaggerated versions of already exaggerated, you know, setups, it's perfect. And the Bud thing is a perfect example of that, and I loved it.
It was great.
It was.
Fluvio, how many times do I have to tell you, don't give them a choice? Let us flee these waters, infested by my mortal enemy, Rubio the Cruel. We'll sail for our hideaway, where girls do our wishes for bags filled with fishes. Where is the ship's navigator?
Here, Captain Daddy.
So Kelly's the ship's navigator.
I was playing fetch with Long John Buck, and I forgot we were at sea.
Buck went overboard because Kelly threw a frisbee into the ocean, and Buck went and got it. I don't know how on earth he got back on the ship. Did he do like Jason and just pull up on the... Oh, no, that was an anchor that Jason got on for Jason Takes Manhattan, right?
Yep.
That's a mystery in itself.
It is.
Buck is called Long John Buck, and that's obviously Long John Silver, who was in the book Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. I actually read that book when I was like 12.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but that was like back when you read and just keep zoning out after like 4 words, and then you read a paragraph and you have to read it over 40 times.
Still happens, bro.
The only time that doesn't happen is when I'm reading like an autobiography or something. Like a lot of times if I'm reading just books and stuff, I might still zone out, but I have to have a real interest in it, and then I don't.
Right.
But anything for school, that's what I did.
Navigator, we're sailing to our hideout. Do your job.
Okie dokie, Captain Daddy. Now, in case of an emergency, please use the exits clearly marked on the port and starboard sides of the ship. And in case of a water landing, Fluvio has many delightful flotation devices already blown up in his cabin. But please, don't grab their chests, for the plastic is wearing thin.
Get it? Because he touches the boobs a lot.
Yeah, Jamie's doing my shtick today. She explains all the obvious jokes. Yeah, that's, Bud's inflatable women carried over from real life. And again, what book is this? Is Peg really reading this book? And who the hell would write something like this?
Right, exactly.
Was this a Michael Moy, Ron Levitt romance novel?
I believe it was William Pattinson.
Oh, God, dude. How could you bring that name up? Oh, my God. I would have never thought of him again. I could have lived 300 years and he would have never popped back up unless I listened to some old Skeleton Crew shows.
Oh, only in nightmares.
Amazing how you pull that name out of the thin air. Or in his case, fat air.
Yeah, right.
So the B story, clearly, which it's barely, is Al battling with the clogged toilet. So we're back to that. Then he has to go with another plunger because one broke and it's old Betsy or something like that.
Well, that story never even gets resolved.
No.
She just goes into the bathroom and attacks him. Spoiler.
Right.
Right, yeah. Spoiler.
I was waiting for the resolve, too. And it just never happened. So Al here says, this time it's personal. And that's the tagline from Jaws 4.
The Revenge.
Jaws 4.
Yeah, make sure I say 4.
Yeah.
And in Back to the Future Part 2, that was spoofed because it was stated that there would be no more sequels after that Jaws. So they figured that by 2015 there would be like Jaws 19, directed by Max Spielberg, and the tagline in Back to the Future 2 was, "This time it's really, really personal."
Yes.
So that was cool.
Later that day, as the welcoming sun caressed the curvaceous princess, she found herself alone with Captain Courage. I wanted to hate that man and his rascal ways, but after a while I discovered something about him. A zest for life, a je ne sais quoi that was hard to resist.
Peg is, the days are going by. She's trapped on this boat. We get like a bit of a montage kind of thing going about all her long journey, being stuck with Captain Courage, him picking his ear and stuff.
The days became endless, and I became dizzy with wonder. Where was I? Where was Prince Paco, my fearless rescuer? Where was the Domino's pizza ship? 30 days or less, my ass.
I have another one of those insane coincidences. So as I'm watching this episode, I swear to God, I hang out with like a group of like the same people all the time. It's kind of like I told somebody on a podcast. It's like I sort of live like a 90210 life in a weird way. Like I have the same, I swear to God, like it's always us. It's always me, my wife, and the same other 8 people all the time. And they're all couples. And it's kind of like that in a weird way. So we all have a huge group text. So one of the girls writes, "Quick question, you guys. Domino's or Pizza Hut?"
What?
How crazy is that?
I mean...
That is probably a question that would be, like, posed to Aaron Duncan.
Yeah, he should answer that.
That's his question. Aaron Duncan, by the way, I know you're listening.
Yep.
Pizza Hut or Domino's? To which the answer is clearly Pizza Hut.
Oh, wow. Everyone said Pizza Hut is garbage and Domino's is a clear winner.
Jamie, are you being serious right now, Jamie?
Absolutely.
What?
I don't eat either of them.
Neither do I.
But back in the day, Pizza Hut was always the best. Domino's was crap, at least where I was.
Okay. Key statement. Pizza Hut was back in the day. Now, I will agree. I will completely agree. Go to a Pizza Hut tomorrow and tell me, I dare you to tell me that is good pizza.
Oh, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, don't spoil the memory.
Just pizza. No, actually, we did. You know what? You're not wrong. We went to a Pizza Hut. It was probably like a year ago. And I was like, there's one we pass all the time. I'm like, you know what? I haven't gotten since I moved to Michigan was Pizza Hut.
Oh,
lucky you.
And I was like, let's get some Pizza Hut. So they don't have the barbecue anymore, which is what I absolutely love. That was always my favorite. They don't have that anymore. And then we ordered some sauce. Yep. And their 4-ounce cup of sauce had 2 ounces of sauce in it.
Yeah, it's like ketchup with egg noodles, just like you said in the movie.
And I was
Goodfellas, yeah.
so angry, and I thought it was just that franchise. Like I thought it was that particular place, but maybe the whole thing's gone downhill. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
I think it's them as a whole.
Yeah, I don't eat fast food pizza myself. I'm a pizzeria guy.
Okay.
Yeah, I would never, ever eat that. The only time I do is like any port in the storm situation.
Right. Well, that's what I was going to ask you, because you're on the go a lot during work, right? So where do you... And I know you need your pizza, like at least once a day, Alex.
Not once a day, but yeah. I'd say every week I have, like, for lunch I'll have 1 slice or something, but it's always a pizzeria. I never even ponder walking into like a Domino's or anything.
Right.
Or nothing like that. Yeah, like I don't think you can even get a 1 slice there, you know. But,
I don't think you can. No, you're right.
Yeah. So yeah, no. But so that was that. What do you guys think of that joke, though?
I loved it. Pizza dude's got 30 seconds.
Yep. So 30 days. So somehow she contacted them while she was tied up. And they told her 30 days or less it'll be there. And that's okay.
That's great. I love pop culture references like that, too.
Right.
They're so bad. I think I told you guys, or one of you guys, about this before, too. But we ordered a pizza one night, and we got it. And we were so hungry, and we were so excited to eat it. And the pizza literally had no sauce on it.
I wish I could have saw your face.
It was cheesy bread, right? So we call them up. Lacey calls them up. And we're like, yeah, so we just ordered a pizza. And they're like, Jimmy! They yell at the kid. They're like, did you forget the sauce on the pizza? He goes, oh, no.
I bet that kid was high.
Did you forget the sauce again?
That's what I'm saying. Like, he does work at Domino's, so it's...
Oh, they're high. Yeah.
Right.
I went through McDonald's I think I told you this, Alex. I went through McDonald's on the way home when I worked late one night and got 2 grilled chicken salads. Neither of them had grilled chicken.
Ah, I love that story.
I don't know how you do that.
That's the best part of it.
It's in the name.
Oh, this is our diet grilled chicken salad.
Wow.
Right. This is our low-protein grilled chicken salad.
That's all. You just don't get it. You're not hip to it.
My senses were reeling. On the ship of madness, I yearned for a voice of reason.
Land ho! Funny-looking land. Made of wood, sails, oars, on a big steering thing just like us. My goof, it was a ship.
Do you know if she was the one who was working on the Titanic the day they hit that iceberg?
Could have been.
Could have been. Prince Paco the Magnificent jumps aboard. It's Jefferson. And he looks great. His outfit is like perfect for him. Perfect character, of course. They really exaggerate what he is on the show. He starts by brushing his hair.
100 times a day.
Yeah, while his crew is killing Al's crew.
Loved it.
Then, as I looked up, something golden struck my eye. I thought it was the sun, but it was the golden mane of Prince Paco the Magnificent.
Damn wind! You there. Find the dastardly Captain Courage and bring him here that he might pay for abducting my bride-to-be and causing me this uneven tan.
He's been a character in pop culture for a long time, and you can look back to it and identify exactly what that is. But this puts a time and a place on it to where, okay, yeah, we know that this guy's, an over-the-top pretty boy, not the smartest dude ever, but kind of like a trophy husband type thing. And then you exaggerate that, you can have so much fun with it. And I think that they nailed it with this. Like I said, with Marcy as well, they played both of those characters, their exaggerated versions, perfectly.
And it's funny you say that. You just kind of said something that made me flip a lot of what people say on its head. Everybody says that Jefferson's the male Peg.
Uh-huh.
But Peg is not a trophy wife.
Right.
That's like a major glaring omission here.
That's a big difference, right.
Right. Like, it's not like Al with Sophia Viagra in Modern Family.
I love that name.
You know?
Yes, you're right.
It's not like that. So, it's really not the same thing. It would be a totally different dynamic if Peg was... Well, she is younger than Al, but no offense to Katie Segal, but you can't tell exactly,
right.
You know? You never really could, I don't think.
It seems like the biggest weapon, though, the biggest difference is the use or the wanting or not wanting of sex by the other partner.
Right.
Because because Jefferson uses it to his advantage all the time. I mean, look, he stole her credit card.
Yeah, and to shut her up.
Too long ago, right? And so he knows, like, listen, I'm a pretty boy. I can get out of this, you know?
I'm good looking.
With Al, he has to get tricked into that, into something.
Right, or have his money stolen.
Right.
And just stolen, and then no real excuses given, you know? It's different.
It is different. And I also don't think, though, that they're trying to speak to, like, you know, like a sex thing, a sexist thing, one way or another. Like, all males are like this, or all females are like this. Or even every relationship is like this. I just think that they're saying these two happen to be this.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes. They happen to just be that.
Right. And that's not indicative of everybody, you know?
No. There are people like this, and that's what we're going to show you guys. That's all.
I know people like this on both sides.
But it's not exactly a flip of roles here. He's not really the male Peg.
And just like in real life, there's many different variations of this, you know?
Right. And Peg never held a topless bartender job for as long as Jefferson has.
Right.
Though he did not know who I was, he was drawn to me like magic.
By your fiery hair and your bodacious frame, you could be the only one to tell me where my fair Scarlet is.
'Tis I, you hunka burning hair. I am your fair Scarlet.
Well, I guess I could handle you.
Many have died trying. That's why I'm still a virgin.
Earlier, she giggled.
Right. Yeah, we all did.
Right. So now you think that she's laughing. So now your mind goes, oh, why did she giggle before? Maybe she's giggling because of why she's a virgin. Because no one can handle her. And that gets her, you know, that amuses her.
Right.
So then, you know, there's more to this. And that's why it becomes irritating. But we'll get to that.
But let's give it a go.
Watch it now! How dare you disturb me while I was perusing my copy of Seagoing Sea Cups?
Prince Paco, sir. May I remind you of the 3 o'clock at the beauty parlor?
Set sail! We are deep in the waters of Rubio the Cruel, who would stop at nothing to cop our precious cargo. And soon we shall kill this Philistine in a manner befitting the way he lives.
Nothing will bother me as long as you do not take me away from my mistress the sea, and saddle me with a wife that doth not work, and kids that whilst not leave the ship.
How about we cut off your head and feed it to the maggots?
Better.
So, Al is in chains.
Alice in Chains? They're on this episode? I'm the man. Sorry.
With the dangerous Captain Courage tied to the mast, and Paco by my side, the threat of Rubio the Cruel seemed far away. My prince bared his soul to me. He could talk for hours about his deepest passions.
I'm a natural blonde. It's really healthy, no split ends. All it takes is 100 strokes a day. That's the ticket. 1, 2...
What woman wouldn't want this man?
Jamie, is it true 100 strokes a day with a brush prevents split ends?
Hey, why didn't you ask me?
Well, I haven't heard from Jamie in a while.
Oh, okay.
That's what Marsha Brady used to say. But I got all my beauty advice from the Brady Bunch, but I would also double check things. And I did read, probably in like 17 magazine or something, that if you brush your hair that much, it will do the exact opposite. Like, it will be horrible for your hair. So I didn't do it. I had gone out and bought this boar bristle brush.
So excited to do this every day.
And yeah, because like the idea is that especially if you use a natural bristle brush like boar bristles, that it evenly distributes the oil from your scalp all the way down to all the strands of your hair. Oh, now, I think if you use a natural bristle brush, it won't be. I think it actually is good, but I think 100 strokes a day is too much.
Well, you have a lot of sections of the head to play with, so...
That's true.
You could do 20 in each spot, right?
Yeah, you could do that.
Something
you could
like
do
that. Yeah.
How many strokes do you give your hair, Alex?
Well, I'm still waiting to hear back from Aaron Duncan on what I should do.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not as savvy with my hair yet. It's only been a year and a half since I can consider it long. The guy says, earlier he said, Prince Paco, sir, may I remind you, you have a 3 o'clock at the beauty parlor. And he goes, set sail! Let's not forget his 3 o'clock appointment at Clip and Curl as a, referenced in the Mr. Empty Pants episode, right, Jamie?
That's right.
Yeah, he was 3 o'clock. Remember we had the whole thing, I thought he was he's the bitch with 2 o'clock. So now he moved it to 3 o'clock. So that's consistent.
But if he was truly the man of my dreams, why was I haunted by memories of my days and nights of Captain Courage?
She thinks that she's become attached to Al. So we get a montage of Al and Peg's time together. Al picking his ear, him with his hand down his pirate belt. How much do you love the one where Al looks like he's just looking out over into the water, and then he puts his leg down and zips his fly up?
Yep.
Now, I've tried to recreate that scene a couple times when I was on a boat for whatever reason, but someone keeps screwing up the video, so I'm afraid we'll never get that.
One day. I'm hopeful.
Yeah, one day.
Well, the hair will be the same. It'll be perfect.
Oh, yeah, now I'll look like him.
See? See?
That's weird.
But still, I was promised to Prince Paco. I couldn't break his heart. It was obvious he loved me so.
Hey, Fluvio. Oh, I sure would like some of that. What is it?
Tis the cabin boy girl, sir.
Oh, I am smitten by that boyish kitten.
When Marcy was scrubbing, I don't think her ass would naturally be moving like that, so she was definitely baiting him.
Working it?
Yeah, she's working that ass. She's been doing that a lot. You know, the episode where her and Peg bent over in bed, as good as it gets?
In the cabin?
Yeah. Now this. Yeah.
Ahoy, cabin boy. I am strangely attracted to you and your dubious sexuality.
And I to you in your easy, pretty boy manner. So let me remove all doubt and prove to you that I'm no boy.
And she rips open her shirt, exposing her breasts, and Jefferson looks down at them and says,
How?
Probably one of the funniest jokes ever. That was so good.
You're going to remove all doubt with those flapjacks.
It was the best because he paused, and he just, gave it a good 10 seconds.
That was great. This episode has so many good jokes.
Look closer, you idiot! Land ho!
Uh-oh. I hope this doesn't come out of my paycheck.
So, another false land ho, and something epic takes place. A ship crashes into them again, and Rubio the Cruel, a.k.a. Steve Rhodes, comes aboard, and he stabs a guy in the stomach, and he starts singing.
It was him, the demon of the seas, the dagger of deceit, the hardest working pirate in show business, Rubio the Cruel.
Ahoy, me mates, it is I, Rubio the Cruel. But enough good cheer. Men hide your women, women hide your heinies. For I'll bring you the unique musical styling of Rubio the Cruel. Rubettes? For I'll be true to the song I sing and live and die. A pirate king
for I am a pirate king. It is a glorious thing to be a pirate king. Woo, I am a pirate king. I am the very model of a modern major general. I've information, vegetable, animal, and mineral. I know the kings of England, and I quote the fights historical from Marathon to Waterloo and Order Catapult. I'm very well acquainted with mathematics. I understand equations, both simple and quadratical. I'm now binomial theorem. Ding, ding, ding went the bell. Zing, zing, zing went my heartstrings.
Now we all know why he's called Rubio the Cruel.
With my hand till the end of the line.
Thank you. You've been a wonderful audience. But now it's time to kill some people and marry the princess.
Now, him singing was, would you guys say, clearly a nod to his leaving the show for Broadway and all this
That's
stuff?
immediately what I thought of.
I thought that his entrance was... it came off very gay.
Well, show tunes usually is gay.
That's what I'm saying, but like...
There was one point, a lot of this he was singing Gilbert and Sullivan over and over. Then all of a sudden he breaks out with the Trolley song, which was made famous by Judy Garland.
Right.
Now, that's...
A big gay icon.
A big gay icon, and then he has the Rubettes, which is a real British band from the 70s. There is definitely gay...
Overtones, undertones in between the tones.
Right, but he's not.
Like Mark Patton?
Yeah, he's not gay like Mark Patton.
I think he is, though. I mean...
The character.
Listen.
I don't think the character.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. No,
I don't know about the actor.
Well, no, the actor publicly has a girlfriend.
Oh, very much.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, right.
Dance all over there. Oh, very much. Oh, okay.
Maybe the joke is that he just sang for a really long time and he ran out of Gilbert and Sullivan and he was saving Mikado for later.
Well, no, like I said, I don't mean the actual actor that plays him. I just mean in this episode.
Oh, Rubio might be gay.
Right. That's who I'm sorry, were we talking about somebody different?
Well, I think we were talking about Steve.
I was talking about David.
Oh. All right, well, see, I was talking about Steve. Alex was talking about David. And Dan's talking about Rubio.
Yeah, no, the guy, the pirate version of him on the show.
Rubio.
Yeah.
At the end, he sings The Wandering Minstrel. Now, that's the Mikado, a comic opera in two acts. Now, this song... well, I mean, in that episode with Jim Jupiter, Steve asks Marcy if she wants to... You hear him in the background going, "The Wandering Minstrel," and then he opens the door, and he says, "Do you want to go see Mikado?" And, she doesn't, because she wants to watch Jim Jupiter do thrust squats in the house, So, it was an exercise guy who came to help Peg exercise for 2 weeks.
Well, and I did watch that episode because I know how much you loved it, and when you talked about it, and then I listened to the podcast after as well. But yeah, and it's crazy the references that they make. Like, it's so on point sometimes, and then other things that they just completely let go.
Yeah, and that was we talked about this too. Then at the same episode when they both leave, Steve goes to Al, "You want to go see Mikado tonight?" And Al goes, "Who's he fighting?"
Nice.
Yep. The first two songs, "Oh, Better Far to Live and Die," and "I Am a Very Model of a Modern Major General," that he sings, those are both from the Pirates of Penzance.
Pirates of Penzance, yes.
The Trolley song was from Meet Me in St. Louis, and the Mikado is, Mikado. So, yep.
I used to work at a place called Penzance Point.
You were meant to... Oh, now you have a work story.
No, it's just... It's a very ritzy area. I wonder... It's ironic, though, because when I did work there, it was right by the ocean, so I wonder if that's a...
Oh, it was a pirate reference.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Any objections, you seagoing weenie?
Kill him, Paco. Rip his guts out. Show him what I mean to you, baby.
I would, but I'm wearing my good clothes, Besides, I am strangely attracted to this.
This girl! This girl! Who wants to see?
Prepare my virgin. Not that one. I haven't been at sea that long.
It's like a straight guy who's been locked away and he's doing life or something, like maybe 27 years into this.
It's prison gay.
I'm sorry, but no, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as prison gay. No. Like, same as out to sea gay. Like, no, that's not going to happen. I'm not going to all of a sudden just like dudes because there's no chicks around. Like, are you serious?
Well,
like,
it's not that it doesn't mean that you like them necessarily. It just means that you have to have somewhere to put it.
Yeah, but you know what? My hand, unless somebody cuts my hands off.
Yeah, but you
That's
haven't
what I'm
been
saying.
locked away. How do you know? You don't know what you would do.
Pretty sure.
I don't know.
Bud must have always given wenches a choice, because if they're implying that this character is a virgin, and Al or Captain Courage said, as usual, he gets first choice or first crack at the girls, that means that he always says stuff like kiss me or kiss the sharks, because if he's still a virgin then and he always gets first choice, that means that none of these guys on this ship ever got laid. Going by all that logic.
That's right. By that logic, you're absolutely right.
Because Bud would have had to get laid for them to continue to be on the boat for the rest of the guys to get laid afterwards.
Right.
So if he has first choice and didn't get him, then no one did.
I meant the Red Goddess.
You're not taking me anywhere. I'm not going to spend one moment with you. Not with that voice and that limited repertoire.
She fought them off with a sword. That didn't work out. Rubio pinned Peg to the gigantic pole Al's tied to, with a knife into her hair. So Peg's hooters are popping when she's pinned to this pole with Al.
I think she looks good through the whole thing. I love her.
Right.
I mean, the hooters, though.
Why Jefferson would push her aside, who knows?
Oh, my God.
No wandering minstrel, I think Now, nothing will stop me from marrying you, collecting your dowry, having my way with you, and killing you. Not necessarily in that order.
Can this be my fate? Married to a man who would butcher both me and Gilbert and Sullivan? Only one could save me. But he wasn't here. Captain, save me, and I will be your woman.
The sea and my girly magazines are my woman.
Which was the magazine we mentioned earlier. Now, that's cool for, like, supplemental and stuff, but boy, is he missing out by not being with a real chick all this time. That's his woman, magazines?
For some people, that's all it takes.
Yeah.
Yes, but can the sea and your magazines cook and clean for you? I will. I just love that stuff.
Yeah? And are you really a virgin?
As sure as I love cooking and cleaning.
So, that means no, I'm not again.
Thanks, Al.
Thanks, Alex.
No, I'm going somewhere with this. So we flip-flopped like 3 times now. You laugh at saying that you are, then you say men have died trying, that's why you are a virgin. Then now you're being sarcastic and saying, yeah, sure, as much as you love to cook and clean. Like, what are we doing? What's the answer?
That's a very fair point.
Like, they're literally saying to the audience right now, we don't care. This show is popular. Like, we're, this is how we do it around here. We're going to go as far off the rails as we want, and you're going to love it. And you know what? People do. Like, that's the thing. As far as consistency goes, nothing can be taken seriously in this context. It might as well be a dream, dream, story, whatever. Any of those setups where you can just completely abandon everything about every character, you know?
But you can make it make sense in the sense that she was kind of advertising herself to Paco the Magnificent at that moment. You know, she laughed when it was just Al saying it in the beginning. Then when he said, I can handle you, she said, many have died trying, that's why I'm a virgin, because she wants him to pick her. Mm-hmm. So maybe that she just lied to get that. Then we went back to reality again with Al.
That makes sense. Touche.
Yeah, it can work. It's just is weird how they went about it, but sure, whatever. Like you said.
Shiver me timbers.
It's a dumb show. You can't be. But again, what else am I going to talk about here? We have to bring up something.
Well, what about kids? I don't want no kids.
Oh, well, you don't have to worry about that. I'll be too busy earning us a living and bringing you kegs of ale to have children.
Scarlett, you is my woman.
So Al doesn't want kids. Smart guy, even for a dumb pirate. So he is on board with this idea. So he has to break free from these chains. Scarlett, I think that's her name, has the bright idea, you know, Peg, to get Marcy to come over and show those flat pancakes on her chest. And then Al breaks free from the chains just to get away from the visual. And then he gets a sword and he goes to Rubio and he says, let's rock. So Steve and Al fight with swords. They have a sword fight because that's what Rubio's into. And it goes on forever. There's a bell that rings like it's a boxing fight, and
I love that, the over-the-top shot.
Yeah, they sit on the barrels, and then there's like that ring girl who walks by with the round it is. Yes. Like, again, this is some book Peg's reading. I mean, who the hell wrote this exactly? It's the most asinine pirate story I've ever heard in my life. So they're sword fighting over dinner. That's the best shot. It's nighttime, and they both got those big chicken legs in their mouth.
Yep.
Oh, like the big drumsticks they're chewing on, while they're like the other hand they're like. It's so funny, man.
Like I don't know. I got this like kind of classic feeling though about that. I was like that. It hit me all of a sudden. I'm like, that's great though. That even though he left the show, they kind of brought him back in a fun way like this, and they can just play around. And I don't know, it was just great.
Oh, it's the best.
I think the whole thing, like the whole production, was kind of a nod to him being on Broadway because, I even mentioned earlier, we were talking about the set, how it felt like I was watching a stage play. And then, of course, with the musicals.
And then he bowed to the audience and said, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I think the whole thing was just, maybe it was even a sort of a hint to the audience, maybe who'd wondered where he was. Maybe they're trying to say, look, this is what I'm doing. I'm okay. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There is life after Married with Children, except for Shane Sweet.
I always love, though, nobody cares about that. No, but there are, as we know, there are Steve enthusiasts, but that's gotta suck, though, for all parties involved, where you get rumors spread about yourself and everybody's always curious as to why this person left or whatever. So I always liked when those people came back and they would team up, I think of like Killswitch Engage, when like one singer leaves, the other one comes back and the original singer comes back, and then they make an album together, and it's just the greatest thing ever. And it's just the best of both.
No bad blood here.
Right. And it doesn't always have to be, like, it was all this person's fault, But even more so, I like when they do say, hey, maybe we did have some beef, but we can move forward with this and, like grow as people and not be bitter about something happened that, years ago or something. Like,
sure.
As time goes, people grow and you can get beyond stuff,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, they moved on, definitely. And they had no bad blood.
Right. It's great.
Now we got bad blood.
You're making me look bad in front of my woman.
At least she doesn't have to look at the bits of corn in your teeth.
That corn is my teeth!
If you really look at at Ed O'Neill when he smiles and stuff. He really doesn't have nice teeth.
It's better than the fizzy green ones, I guess.
Yeah, or that black one. The one that's bleeding looks okay. But it might be bothered by the one that's fizzing or something. Wait, let me move this one aside and look at this other one. That was such a great episode, man.
That was our first episode.
Yeah.
What a time that was.
Right?
The energy, if you go back and listen to that first episode the three of us did together, Ain't It the Tooth or something like that, the excitement and energy we all had to be together. And by the way, it should be your anniversary. I do believe it was March, you guys. I think you guys have been here for 2 years.
Oh. Wow. Do we get a cake?
Well, no, it's March 21st, 2018 was your first show. So last week, Saturday, 4 days ago, was your 2-year anniversary. So this is the first time you actually passed your 2 years. So now this is your first show after making your 2-year anniversary mark.
Wow.
Yay.
That's crazy.
That's so hard to believe.
Right?
I can't believe the show has been going on for 3 years and almost 4 months, but you guys have been here for 2 years.
Yeah, that makes us, we now claim it.
Yeah.
Ours. Just like I claimed Skeleton Crew. I spent more time on that show than anybody else.
Jamie's a regular carpetbagger.
I am.
So now 2 years now, does that mean we're in the union now? Or do we get benefits? Is there any 401k? What do we get here, Al?
Well, you gotta ask the patrons, man. It's all about them.
Right?
Come on, guys. Be generous. We've done a lot for you in 3 years, and these guys 2 years.
Got no ma'am care.
I know. Hair plugs don't pay for themselves, folks.
Yeah, Dan wants these jokes to stop, so let's go with the donations, man.
For that you die!
You fool. I was taught to fight by the greatest teachers in the finest schools in Europe.
Oh, yeah? Well, I was taught how to fight in the street.
And he knees him in the junk. And another weird coincidence, just yesterday my sister was over and we watched Weird Science, and Gary tells the story. Remember at that jazz bar, the candy bar?
Yes.
Yeah.
He goes, "Bitch, need my nuts. Right in the family jewels, right in the family jewels, man. Broke my heart in two." That's not all she broke.
You know what I thought of, Al, when I heard this? Go kick me in the junk.
Oh my God, Cliff O'Malley.
My name is Cliff, brother of Joe.
Got me some crack. I want me some hoe.
Land ho.
Now that brings back memories.
Yeah.
Everyone, whoever's into this show will like it. Watch Dead Man on Campus, however you can. It stars Mark Paul Gosselaar from Saved by the Bell.
I still love that movie. I haven't seen it in a long time.
Will you cut loader? Piss off.
It's so good. Oh my God, that movie's good.
Yes. There's gotta be.
We used to double feature that. My friend and I used to watch back to back that and The Curve.
Yes. What's up, Lesbos?
What's up? And he was like, "What's up, Lesbos?" Because he had a lung full of pot smoke.
And Princess Scarlet lived happily ever after. He, on the other hand, was not interesting ever again.
That's funny. Even I like how Peg even looks into the camera, like shrugs, like, well. And Al's in his glory at that one moment, and he'll never be interesting again, which is a perfect friggin' tie-in to the whole Polk High thing.
Well, and didn't stop her from attacking him, though.
That's what, I was thinking the same thing.
Get up, honey. Now go to bed. Good boy. Go on. Take me, Captain Courage.
Who? Why? Peg, no!
When she did that, I was like, wow. even though she read that part, anticlimactic ending because of that line, she still was like raring and ready to go and just jumped them.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Toss that kid out of the bed so fast.
Oh, yeah.
In the show.
Yeah, yeah. As quickly as she got him out of the bed, I think they got him off the show.
I was watching were you guys watching his face while she was reading to him?
Yes.
I was too. And I was trying to decipher whether or not
he knows it's his last show?
Yeah, like what was going on in his mind. Was he sad, because was his little heart broken? Because as much as I make fun of him, I feel bad for him too, poor little thing. But then I realized there is nothing going on behind those eyes. Like, it was just a blank slate whenever I was looking.
Do you think we should do a 7 show? Or should we try to just forget this happened?
You mean like favorite moments?
Like a Steve... Remember our Steve send-off show?
Yeah. I don't know if we have enough material for that.
I know, like, what are we going to say? Remember when he took that chick upstairs to his bedroom?
And then remember when he took that chick upstairs to his bedroom?
Yeah.
Oh, but what about that time he took that chick upstairs to his bedroom?
Well, no. What about and then he took her to the bedroom too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I remember that too. Remember when they threw the blanket over him? Do you remember when he was polishing Al's shoe?
I was going to bring that up. Yeah. I would love to go through each episode he's on and count how many lines he actually has. Like, how many words does that kid utter?
Even in his own birthday party, how many lines does he actually have?
I remember the look on everyone's face when they had to say, "You know what, Dad? I think he's an official Bundy." Oh.
And the world collectively cringed.
Dreadful. Oh, they did. They did. Every fan was like, what?
Yep.
Terry Ricolta was sitting at home laughing.
Yeah, she was like, boy, you guys have fallen.
I see the end, and it is good.
Yeah. Let's talk about him on the wrap-up show for Season 7.
Yeah,
that's a good idea. We'll
do it in memoriam. Yeah.
Yeah, that way we don't have to spend a whole extra week on him.
Right.
Oh, Peggy and the Pirates. Will we see the last of the dreaded 7 and the welcoming guest spot of the greatest character to bless the primetime spot with David Garrison, a.k.a. Steve. In this episode, playing Rubio the Cruel. Rubio is a fierce, sophisticated pirate known for taking out whole crews with just his voice. He truly is a sitcom siren of the high seas, and in this episode, we see him lose to a low-end scallywag named Captain Courage, who is played by the only man who has the courage to fight a stopped-up Ferguson and live with Peggy. Steve comes through magnificently in this episode, delighting us fans with the song and dance he is known for in the series, and displays quite a way with the sword. The whole episode is chock full of great lines, making this one of the best episodes in the late seasons, and obviously my favorite. Rubio the Cruel lives on for me, having faked his death at the hands of Courage and living his pirate life with rum and show tunes on fantastic voyages that I'm sure rival Captain Jack Sparrow, at least in my head. He in the end fared better than Courage, who, much like Al, was taken by the great fire of misery that is marriage. So with that, I leave you to continue writing my Rubio the Cruel fan fiction. Thanks for listening, and oh yeah, Alex, nice hat, Steve.
Alright guys, how many show tunes are you singing on a pirate ship out of 5 for this episode, Dan?
I am singing all day, 5 out of 5. I love this episode.
Wow.
It was so much fun. Like I said, I'm so glad I went back and watched it a second time. All the jokes were just perfect, fire. Very few, misses, I guess, if you would even call them that. Some of the jokes, not exactly my personal preference, but they were still good jokes. The Jefferson jokes were off the charts, I thought. How they used Marcy was just great, too. Like, every single joke at her expense was just perfect. And like you said, they used everybody. They even had Buck in there. I thought everybody kind of got their day in the sun. With Kelly, up doing the plane thing even, and then with Bud, and obviously you got Al and Peg that are front and center, along with Marcy and Jefferson, and you even got Steve. And listen, I'm not mad Steve was on this episode. I loved the whole setup. I thought it was great. Like you said, the set design was fantastic. Good for them. And obviously, this is Seven's departure. So 5 out of 5, hands down, loved it.
Nice. Jamie, how many show tunes are you singing on a pirate ship out of 5 for this episode?
I'm singing 5.
Wow.
Yeah, all that stuff Dan said, exactly.
Right? Yeah, you kind of really encapsulated it. I'll try to elaborate, but yeah, I too am singing 5 show tunes out of 5 since I was a little kid. I think I recorded this on first run, and another episode I just mauled. Like, it was so good. It brings back such great memories.
I feel like we're going to revisit it too on the wrap-up show. This is definitely one of those memorable episodes.
Oh, and Steve being there just makes it magic.
Yeah.
Like, truly.
Yep.
It's a beautiful set. It's so cozy. I love it. I love Al's acting. How he's just like how the approach he took to being a pirate.
I love how he thought Peg would be impressed with his earwax.
Yeah, like, what is she supposed to do?
It's like, oh no? Oh, okay.
And he's done that on the couch too,
Right, it was that's like a caveman thing to do, though.
Yeah.
What woman in any era?
You mean like hold their women by their feet?
Right, like it seemed like something like that,
like a plunger.
Impressing her with earwax. Like what?
Yeah. At the end of this episode too, there's a still frame of Captain Courage standing victorious with Peg instead of the usual Al and Peg on a couch as the credits are going.
Yep, that was cool.
Yeah, that's cool too.
Different, yeah.
From the beginning, Peg in bed reading the story to Seven, and you're right, having this be his departure and stuff. Like Jamie said, you almost want to feel sorry for the kid, like looking into his eyes and wondering what's going on in his soul as he knows his big break was cut short. Do you feel bad now because he's gone? It's one of those things where it's like, no, if you're asking me, like, would I want him to stay? No. Do I feel bad for him as a human being? Sure. But I don't want him on my show. It would be great if he got a job somewhere else,
right,
as a compensation. Then, yeah, I feel bad. He added nothing to the show. It became more interesting to see what they did to get rid of him than to see what he was doing.
That was the whole thing, right?
Right. And remember, one of his best jokes were off screen.
Right. Yeah. It's very interesting from a fan's perspective to see how these things not only play out in real life, but then how you see it play out on the TV show. And this has got to be one of the most bizarre additions and subsequently his removal ever of all time.
Oh yeah.
Right? It's crazy. So at the very least it's infamous, I think. It's legendary. It's talked about, I think.
Would you say, are you glad it happened just because we have this moment to talk about, sort of?
It's interesting. You don't see that much. And there are shows that have different things happening with different people at different times, but I've never, me personally, I haven't seen a more bizarre one than this.
No.
It just begs the question, why? Why did you do it in the first place,
Like you said, it's almost more interesting the quick departure of it all. It's funny how quickly they pumped the brakes, they dialed back so fast.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously. And the one time they focused on him, it was so forced that it was truly a disaster. That thing in the park with his birthday.
Right.
Left, right, and center, everything about it was bad. that just meant the one time we tried with him to really make him something, it just was not working. Like, it just wasn't meant to be here.
Exactly.
It's fascinating. It didn't hurt my show or my enjoyment of this show. I think ratings did decline, though, actually, when he came on, so I guess it did hurt the show.
Right.
But it didn't hurt what I thought of it. I really have had a great time in Season 7. Right? I mean, have we been, like, slogging through this? No.
No, I've had a good time.
Right. So far, my money's on Season 8 as the shark jumper. I really don't think this jumped the shark unless the next, like, 5 or 6 episodes are horrendous. I'm going to go ahead and say that it didn't jump here.
I would have to agree with that.
Yeah, it's still going fine to me. So the other amazing thing about today is the fact that you two, That Time Is Here Again, are celebrating now your 2nd anniversary on the Married with Children podcast. Yep, your first show was March 21st, 2018.
It does not seem that long ago at all.
It really doesn't. And I always said the day that I'm on this show for 2 years is the day the world will end.
Well, it worked out.
Ironically, yes. But, you know, in a lot of ways, though, it's weird. You said 2 years. I feel like we're just getting started.
Right. Well, when you think of what we have left to go, it's incredible. And what you've done is amazing. You started off at show 62, and this show is 149.
Wow. That is crazy. And I'll say this, too. You know, you've been there, obviously, since day one. You know, you conceived this whole show. It's been yours since day one. And bringing us on, you know, I'll say this. Podcasts are hard to do for extended lengths of time like that, you know, especially when you're adhering to a weekly schedule and stuff like that. So doing it with you guys, though, it never like seems like work. It's seriously like always a pleasure, always a good time. Like if you would have asked me years ago if I'd be doing a weekly Married with Children podcast, I'd first be like, what is a podcast? But it's awesome though to do it with you guys because, you know, anytime we get together to do anything, it's always just a blast. And I never would have expected it, but it's seriously like the greatest thing ever. And I look at sitcoms differently now, and I look at everything differently now. So it's been great since day one. And like I said, I feel like we're just starting. Like I feel like we are just beginning. So let's do it.
Well, we have 100 and roughly 10 or 12 episodes to go, believe it or not. And we only have season 8, 9, 10, and 11. Just 4 seasons to go. And I remember getting past the 4th season and how quickly that came. And now here I am 3 seasons later. And I'm like, where does it all go? It's a weird thing, time. It still feels like new. Like, I wonder if anyone else thinks that. Like, when I talk to, like, Annabelle and, you know, people behind the scenes and stuff who like were there with me were like, oh, so you're really into this, huh? So what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Would you like to join the research team? All those conversations still feel like they just happened.
Right.
To think I've known Annabelle for 3 years it blows my mind.
Right.
I guess Jamie got the ball rolling in the whole thing where, well, if you need any... Because that was the whole time Jerry and Justin, things were falling apart. Jerry's health just took a turn for the worse. We all know that. And thank you to everybody who donated to the thing, because we took a collection for him, because I forgot what it was. Like his insurance wouldn't cover his medicine or something.
It's horrible, man. And I see it all the time, and it's devastating for people. Yeah, it's bad.
Mm-hmm. So that's still going on, and those reasons are reasons he can't be here. Basically, the whole show was retooled. Justin left at that time because he was doing so much he couldn't take on the responsibilities Jerry had. And then we talked about the responsibilities with us. And Jamie said if if you need another person or whatever, just let me know. That's all you have to do.
And yeah,
always.
Yeah, I just couldn't believe it. When you said that, it was like the clouds lifted, and like you hear like that music, you know, like Ralphie when they told him to write a theme in A Christmas Story.
Well, little did you know that I was totally jealous. I wasn't doing it with you from the very beginning.
Really?
Yeah, I always wanted to be here.
I just figured no one is as into this show as I was, so I didn't even think to ask you to. And I was like, well, they're not going to do it, so I might as well start fresh.
And I told you this, though, since day one, like, when you asked me, without hesitation. Like, I don't even have to think about it. And here's why. It has nothing to do with the show. It has to do with you being my friend. And here's the thing. Especially, you see this in podcasts, you see this in a lot of other, outlets that are kind of similar. Anytime somebody's putting up a YouTube video or putting out a podcast or whatever, everybody wants to entertain. Everybody wants to add their own personal flair to it. And since day one, not only has Alex been like one of the most ambitious people that I've ever, I guess, worked with, but podcasted with, he's so tuned into exactly what he wants, and that is a great trait, but a lot of people find it hard to carry that across and actually turn that into a real thing, ferment that into something where people are going to want to listen to it. And obviously doing the Skeleton Crew with you, I knew that your capabilities surpassed anything, so it didn't matter what we were doing. So when you had asked me, hey, do you want to do a Married with Children, it didn't really matter what it was, because anytime we all get together, it's always a great time. And I trust that, you're gonna lead us in the right direction. And that's why it's been a pleasure these past, couple years. And then before that, it was a pleasure with the Skeleton Crew too. So it's it's always great experiences, and you can't get these things back. These are always recorded. These will always be here forever. They're a great little time capsule to look back on different times in our life. Like, we can literally look back on, the Christmas episodes now. Like, I know I did that with the Kinnison episode when Christmas came around last year, and it's already been a staple of my life personally, and that's why, like I said, I'll dude, you want to do anything, bro, I'm right there with you.
Wow.
Yeah, man, crew for life. It's always been that way. The crew is family.
Yeah, remember that saw you made or whatever?
Yeah, I still have that picture.
We did together. The first shows that we did together. And oddly enough, I know we all podcasted before that and stuff, but none of them are honestly that memorable until we all get together. And those shows I remember. All the retros that we did, I remember, And now these shows as well. It's like I'll always remember these.
Yeah, and plus, have you heard how we talk about you when you're not around? If you ever listen to other podcasts where we are guesting on somebody else's show, or even when I'm on Dan's show, which I am quite a bit, and I love it. But whenever we are together, or even individually, if it ever comes up, if anyone ever talks about podcasting and the history of podcasting, all this, your name always gets dropped as seriously one of the best producers ever.
Wow.
Ever.
Thank you.
And it's because we both recognize the amount of work that you put in and how good you are at it. And it's been that way from the beginning. It was like you were a natural. You just sort of picked it up and went with it. And it's kind of legendary.
It is. There's a lot of different ways you can approach a podcast, Some people just do the bare bones stuff, but I don't know. Alex has always had not only an ear, but a realization that it's more than just listening to something. It's like a feeling. So to try and transcend just, talking on a microphone, I think that you're one of the only people, you and a couple others, you're the highest on the mountaintop. There are a couple others that have kind of done similar things, but it's always been cream of the crop, like always the best around, man.
Wow, thanks, guys. I mean, I was going to say all this stuff about you two, because it's like, I love being with the two of you. It just feels like home. Every time, like, no matter where we go, if it's the nudie bar or the dungeon or whatever, it just always feels like that's where we're supposed to be. Once Jamie said that, like I said, the clouds lifted, and then when Dan heard, I told him what you said, knowing you were going to be the other person is a thing that made him say, well, just so you know, that goes for me too. I mean, he knew that meant the crew was getting back together.
Well, I think we were supposed to. Well, speaking of everyone, Alex has recently introduced me to some comments, and I've said it before, like, I don't read comments because it scares me. Like, I'm much happier if I don't, because sometimes, especially like YouTube comments, they're just cesspools, and I'm not saying our listeners, I'm just saying in general.
Oh yeah, generally.
I have sometimes like cooking shows that I watch on YouTube, and if I happen to scroll down and see the comments, it's like, you need to kill yourself, over a chicken sandwich? Like, what is wrong with people? So I stay away from them because I don't need the negativity. But what Alex has shown me is that our listeners are just incredible. They're really wonderful, and they hit on repeatedly some of the things that you were just saying, like the chemistry. That people can tell that we enjoy working together, that I think it's pretty obvious that we've been together for a while. Right. I don't think people listening to the show would know that, but we've been working together for years, many years before Married with Children.
Yeah, for 8 full years now. And imagine what people thought, like when you rework a whole show and you're like, well, guess what, guys, 2/3 of the show is different, blah blah. So they were probably like cringing and like, well, let's see if I like this. And luckily, that first show, Truth or Consequences, that was probably one of our best shows we've done here together, because it had that fresh, new, energetic feeling of doing something new together, and it just was so interesting. And imagine that they were like, wow, these three have really good chemistry. I thought this would bomb. And, I don't know if we mentioned it heavily that we worked together prior, but so that must have been great for people to hear. That must have been like a really nice introduction into the new cast here. And the people Jamie was mentioning, we've been reading lately, is Vincent T. is one of the dudes on YouTube, and the other one is John Blazini 69 and Gravy Dog 316. Like, there's a few regular posters. We appreciate you all. Thank you all for liking the videos.
Guys. Right.
Yeah, I might actually start paying attention now, and maybe actually try to do some interaction. I always interact with people on Facebook or even Twitter. If people tweet me, I'll interact, and I love that interaction. I love talking to people who share the same interests that I do, whether it be horror films or this show or whatever. If someone wants to reach out and get into a conversation, I love it. That's why I do this. It's my favorite thing. So I have been actively avoiding the YouTube people, and just because I was afraid. And so now I see that no, there's nothing to be afraid of. We have wonderful people listening to this show, and I would like to be more interactive with them. So don't be surprised if you see me pop up in the comments here.